11th episode of Taste Buds. My name's Sinan.
And I'm Ralph. And today we're going to be making the American classic, the apple pie.
The first thing we're going to do is we're going to make the dough. And for that we're going to need 2.5 cups of all-purpose unbleached flour, a tablespoon of salt, and 1 tablespoon of sugar. I'm going to whisk that all up for a second. Mix that all up.
While Sinan's doing that, I'm going to cut up this butter into cubes so that the mixer will be able to mix up quicker.
Alright, we're just going to put that in an automatic mixer and wait for Ralph to cut those up into cubes.
Now we'll mix them until the butter is in very small chunks.
As this is mixing, I'm going to add some cold water to it little by little just so all the ingredients solidify together. So Ralph's going to add about 1/4 cup to 1/2 cup of cold water. Just keep sprinkling that in as it's mixing just so it all comes together. Let's add a little bit more.
You want to put just enough water so that it doesn't stick together.
Alright, that's what dough's supposed to look like. Let's get that out of there. As Ralph gets the dough off, what we're going to do after that is we're going to roll up the dough into a ball and we're going to split it up into 2 parts. One of the parts is going to be a little bit bigger than the other one because the bigger one's going to end up being the bottom crust of the pie. Because the pie, let's get a look at that. The pie tin's curved like this, obviously, so when you take a bigger part of the dough, you're going to lay it on top so it folds over. The top one doesn't have to be so big because it's just going to go on top of it. It doesn't have to mold over to the shape. So as Ralph gets all the dough out, we're going to roll it up into a ball like I just said. Wow, that sherry is beautiful, isn't it, Ralph?
Yes, it is.
Alright, so now we're going to roll it up into a ball. Oh, that's great.
We'll split it up into a smaller part and a larger part. So now you can take that.
Alright, give me the... Oh, that's great. Now that we've got 2 balls of dough, one bigger than the other one, we're going to put them in the refrigerator. Put it in the saran wrap. Each one has its own separate one. And... refrigeration. Through the magic of internet television, we already have some dough pre-made for you. Oh, that's fantastic.
Isn't it?
Oh, yes.
So now what we're going to do so we can roll it out for our crust, I'll put some flour onto our baking sheet. And what I'll do now is I'll roll it out into a nice circle.
And as Ralph is doing that, I'm going to spray the pie plate with some non-stick spray.
You want to roll out this dough so that it's bigger than the pie plate. You'll be able to cut off the extra and use it later on for some more dough if you like. And you want to make it a little less than 1 centimeter thick. Once our dough's made, we'll roll it around this rolling pin, so it'll make it easier to put on the pie plate.
It runs ripping, mostly, for when you put it in the pie plate.
Okay, so now just put the pie plate right underneath.
Alright. Right there. We got some non-stick stuff on there so it won't stick. Oh, yes.
We'll just readjust it a
Now we're
little
going to
bit.
move that over the pie plate like this. This is why we use the bigger dough for the pie plate so we can actually mold it around.
Mm-hmm. And it also helps the extra dough. If we have any rips, we can just fill it in. Stop fooling around, Sinan.
You got me, Ralph. Let's move on to the filling, shall we? Now, the first thing we're going to add is the apples. About 6 to 8, depending on how much you really love apples.
I really like apples.
I really love apples, Ralph, so I want like 8 in mine. All right, we got to peel all these first. Oh, man. Get a knife there. That's not how you peel an apple, folks.
You can keep the skin on if you want more fiber in your meal.
I love fiber. Loo, 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 I've got some apples. Loo, 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 you've got some too. Loo, 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 let's make some apple pie.
Son, you've really got to cut it out, buddy.
I'm sorry. I love apple pie so much, it's ridiculous.
While Sinan's peeling and singing, apparently, I'm going to core these apples. It's very simple. You can either use a melon baller, or what I have here is just a handy-dandy core. You just stick right into the middle of the apple. And that should take the core right out.
Wow, that's ballin'.
Once we've peeled and cored the apples, we're going to cut these into very thin slices. And also there may be some remainder of core in there. You can just cut it out with a
Pick the
knife.
seeds out, that's fine. All right, now that we've got all these apples cut up into little thin slices like this, we're going to put these all in the bowl and we're going to add 1/4 cup of brown sugar and 1/4 cup of white sugar all in here. And to that, we're going to add
a teaspoon of cinnamon.
Put that right in there. All right, we're going to whisk that all together. Put them all, yeah. All right, I'm gonna sprinkle that over the apples. Now when we put that on the apples, we're gonna get down and dirty, get in those apples, and we're gonna mix it all up. We got some more cinnamon. Put all that in there.
We want to make sure all the apple slices are evenly coated with our mixture.
Now Ralph is finishing up, evenly coating everything with our mixture, and you can see every slice has the cinnamon and the 2 types of sugar all evenly spread. And if you look in there, Johnny, you can see that everything has that. We look for our audience.
And now that I'm done, Sinan, if you can get the pie plate. Once you finish this mixture, it's important that you put it right into the pie plate, or else the apples will start ripening and they'll become brown.
Right there.
Pie plate's there. We'll evenly distribute all the apples. And just fill every nook and cranny in. What will happen is when it's cooking, the apples will shrink. So it's fine if it looks like this. Seems like there's too much in there. Now that the pie dish is filled with our fillings, now if you can get the dough.
All right, it's the smaller piece of dough. You use the top. Bam! All right, let's do this.
And like we do with the bottom sheet, we're gonna put some flour onto our dish.
Board? Yeah. Spread that all around. We don't want it to stick.
It's not if you can just roll that around.
Mm-hmm. The flour all over. We don't want it sticking to the rolling pin. If you want, you're gonna give it more flour, and we're gonna put a little bit on the pin itself. All right, just so it doesn't stick. And
now with the top one, it's extra important to make it a perfect circle so that it fits the pie dish. Now that Sinan's rolled it out, we're gonna put it on top of our pie dish.
We're doing that.
Yeah, we'll do that. And like we do with the bottom part, we're gonna roll it around our pin.
That right there.
Just put it right on top.
And roll that on. Oh yes, that's a perfect fit.
So let's even it out. A little bit extra on this side, so let's just
move that right here. We're gonna cover it.
Okay, we'll spread it out to the side. We'll have a little bit of an overhang so we can pinch it together in a second.
All right. So now we're going to start pinching the bottom and the top dough together so it won't shrink as much, so there won't be any holes in it. And on the top, we're going to have a little slit so the steam can exit out. And we're going to have a little fun with this. You can have an X shape if you want. You can have a little circle. All I'm going to write our initials. All right, we got S. Oh. S for Sinan. That's me.
Okay.
Then we're going to have an R for Ralphie.
To make it have more of a golden brown color, we're going to take our egg and whisk it and add a little water, and we're going to just brush it on top. So it's not if you can just crack open the egg and whisk it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and like I said before, we may have a little bit extra, so we can just cut it right off.
All right, the egg has been whisked, and now we're going to spread it over the top of the apple pie to give it that golden brown color we all love.
Now that we've finished painting the egg on it, we'll actually put it in a preheated oven that's at 350 degrees for about 45 to 60 minutes, or until golden brown. You'll know the pie is ready when it's golden brown and when the filling is bubbling.
Now when you take it out, you're going to want to let it cool for about 10 minutes because it's going to be sizzling, it's going to be still bubbling, you want to let it cool down. But after 10 minutes, it's time to enjoy your all-American homemade apple pie. An apple pie is not complete without some good old healthy ice cream. Let me get the scooper, open this up, and now you enjoy.
Well guys, thank you very much for joining us on our 11th episode of Taste Buds.
That's good.
My name's Sinan.
And I'm Ralph.
And this is Johnny. We'll see you next time.
Later.